is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Defenders of the Realm and subsequently the Dragon expansion. Because I think all the other expansions are literally just hero expansions. Yeah,
just adds heroes.
So this game came out, what is it, a century? No, what's 10 years ago? It feels like a century, a decade. Thank you. It feels like it came out a century ago in the board gaming world, because 10 years is a long time in this hobby, to where you really see how bad games were back then. No, this is obviously a revolutionary game when it came out. I'm just going to go ahead and say, for me, this is not a game I would want to play today, because at this point, so many games have come out that just do what this game does, and it's just better. And we say this for a lot of games, where it's like, why play this game whenever you can play, 5 others? Funny enough, you and I were just kind of talking about Sorcerer City. Totally different game, but I'm like, oh, was it shit? You're like, nah, there's just games that do what it does better. Mm-hmm. So it's always hard to do reviews for these kinds of games that are aged, because it's like, do you review them as if it was 10 years ago? Or do you review them now, or try and do a mix of both?
I say both.
I think the first step would to be acknowledge that this is a building block of the hobby of a lot of people, and so it does that well.
Because the reason I say, because how long ago did you play this for the first time? Do you remember?
No, like 5 years
right.
ago. So even then, I kind of feel like it was aged at that point.
I played this when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then went from there,
Perfect.
And stuff.
So we'll get a little bit of a touch on both aspects, but I will say that this game is aggravating for me personally in many ways, because it's just one of those. The design was, there was no mitigation in games like this. It was all about just randomness, and that gave you variety because you never saw the same thing. But the way the game, it's either really difficult or really easy. Just depending on how the cards come out, and I just don't think that's fun. It's like, you can't strategize and win cooperatively when you have absolute zero control over every aspect of the game. Die rolls, hero cards, and darkness cards are all completely random, and there's very few ways to mitigate it, like with the special cards that you happen to have, where it's like, oh, hey, you can reroll failed results. Yeah, that was like your one special card that he happens to start with, or that you happen to start with. And it's like, great, yeah, that came in handy, but that's our one card for the entire game. You have no control over where people are going. You have no control over the quest cards. You get quest cards are also random, and those can be shit or really good, but you have to work for them on top of doing everything else. So it's just frustrating whenever you're trying to be like, hey, let's try and win cooperatively, but you really just kind of throw caution to the wind whenever it's like, well, it doesn't really matter what we do, because even the good card that we drew throughout the run through, after planning, okay, if he doesn't move, we can kill this guy, and we draw a card. It's like, this is a good card. No, it's not, because it would have pulled all of us into, and it's like, so we just wasted this entire turn. Or actually multiple turns to try and plan for this. So it's just annoying. But what do you guys think?
I mean, I like it just because it's just... it's very simple, it's very straightforward. The randomness of it is a lot to be... It gives you the chance to be really frustrated at it. But, just for being a basic game... it doesn't really stand the test of time, but I have fun. I didn't not have fun, so...
There was a tipping point for me where I was like, yes, this is really fun, and then it was almost with that the darkness card where I was just like, okay, my fun just plummeted.
Yeah.
And I should preface all this with saying, fuck the Dragon expansion.
Yeah.
It is dog shit. Richard Lanius, you suck at expansions.
I think it was just the fact of trying to make it uber challenging, because back then it was like, with a lot of those games, it was like cooperative. Most people are playing this cooperatively.
Mm-hmm.
So cooperative games are supposed to be really, really hard and keep
Yeah.
people trying, and stuff. And I think
Yeah, because you see those with like Robinson Crusoe and Ghost Stories, where it's like super punishing games, but it's like not many people are masochists, and they would still want to have a chance of winning while also being challenged. So it's a fine balance.
Yeah.
And the Dragon expansion does not have that balance. It's just hope you get lucky and win that way. Otherwise, you're just gonna lose. And for many games, it's just like I want to feel like I didn't waste my time. Where it's like, hey, let's strategize, and it's like, oh man, ooh, like Aeon's End, for example, perfect balance of a cooperative game that's challenging, and you still have a chance of winning, even though there's still randomness in that game. Mm-hmm. It's like, ooh, okay, we might have a chance, but we also have equal chance of losing. Here, it's like, yeah, it's about 70%, 75, 80, 90% chance they're going to lose with the Dragon expansion completely. Brad, what do you think?
this game where it doesn't stand the test of time, Mm-hmm. I mean, I prefer base game, obviously, like we said. I play the base game pretty much exclusively just because it has a higher win percentage where it's still challenging. It's just, it doesn't feel as crushing.
Yeah.
I put games like this into the same category as, let's say, Talisman for You.
Okay.
And stuff like that. Like, it feels... Like, I still like the game.
Yeah.
Not the Dragon expansion necessarily, but I love the game because of what it does and because of when it was one of my early games that I got into and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it definitely feels older,
Yeah.
know.
And not even just the way it looks. Actually, I really don't mind. I actually kind of like the board art, because it has that very old school D&D Magic the Gathering
Yes,
art.
I was just thinking how much I love the aesthetic of the game.
Yeah, mine, like, it looks like, obviously if you saw it, you'd be like, wow, this looks dated, but I think it works. I kind of like the, hey, in this area, there's the forest, it just zooms in onto that. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Well, and then it's confusing the first time you play it, trying to remember where everything is.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit.
It doesn't help that most of the cards are misprinted, where you're looking at it and it's like, oh, okay, I need to find Wyvern Forest. That's blue. Where's blue? It's not blue. It's green. Okay, so that sucks.
So it's one of those things, like this was this game spawned a lot of stuff with the Richard Lonnie stuff, we both went whole hog into Freedom 5.
Freedom 5, yeah.
Which is going to be kind of the everything that's happened with this and Defenders of the Last Stand and stuff like that he's learned from, and then it's hopefully
over 10 years.
Hopefully it culminates into a great with Freedom 5
That's with
being
the
a great
Sadler
game.
Bros, right?
Yeah,
that's the other
help out
guys.
too.
That's
Yeah.
I was sitting there, I'm like, who made that game with him? It was a named person.
So this, using this deal, and again, this is like Pandemic. I mean, it has some of the Pandemic stuff to it,
Which Pandemic came out 2012, I want to say. I'll look that up while you keep talking.
Yeah. But this one's just, I like the customization of this game as well because...
2008.
Okay. Yeah, so Pandemic came first. I think they kind of used a little bit of
This came out 2 years later.
But the customization of this game to make it harder or easier, they give you ways in the rulebook saying, like with this, there's a way to make this. You could start with Royal Blessings. You could start with more stuff to make this easier. I kind of made it easier with this playthrough because you're not supposed to have any All Is Quiet cards in there at all.
Right.
So yeah, I mean it's brutal. The minions are a lot tougher in this than the base game. I think
what makes it difficult, or at least the Dragon expansion specifically, is that the war status cards is that these are the only, or like the Darkness Spreads cards. The generals already kind of rapidly move. Well, actually, Brimstone is the only one who doesn't just beeline it to Monarch City. He's actually setting fire, which I like. I like the variety with him because it's kind of like, man, do we go after him? Do we leave it alone? But Onyx, Sapphire, and Hemlock, all of them just are 4 spaces away. You can very much draw 4 cards in a 4-player game. Each person just happens to draw green, and then you just lose. And with no ways of canceling it, except the wizard can potentially mitigate it on his turn. But the war status is just kind of like, I think it's too, even because this is in the base game.
Yeah,
even
that's the same one.
Yeah, and it's like I wish that for the dragon expansion a new war status came out, because when you kill one dragon, it's like, well, there's just no way. Multiple generals are going to be moving, and when they're 4 spaces away, that just increases your odds, and you can't finish quests quick enough. You can't gather cards because they're random anyway. Like, we potentially might have been able to kill him if the monk happened to draw black cards. Then it's like, oh, okay, like, then let's at least attempt to kill him, because then we'll only have to worry about Sapphire moving. But drawing 2 darkness spreads, that just increases your odds, especially with how quickly they move. Yeah, literally the next 2 cards were 2 black.
Right.
There's just no, I mean, yeah, it's great if we killed him, because that means it's only minion spreads. But
I wish, the one complaint with the placement, like, they picked a new placement for Brimstone,
yeah,
a different starting spot than where the base game guy starts. I wish there was a way, and I haven't really mathed it out to look, but Sapphire almost needs to start like in the furthest away
Ghost
from
Marsh
Monarch,
or something, yeah,
because of how difficult. Because when she comes out as in this scenario, when she comes out as the general, she has what, 8 life?
Yes,
and you only can hit her on 5 pluses.
Yeah.
You know, and your ability wouldn't have worked. Your 6 would only still count as 1 hit.
Against,
you know, so
specifically
it's like,
against Sapphire.
So she is so difficult, and if you're pulling cards,
it doesn't even matter, because
you know?
I was just mathing it out real quick. No matter where she starts, it's 4 spaces away.
Still, okay.
Like even the first Ghost Marsh is 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yep.
which is nice for hero movement. That really, besides the inns, are nothing attached to the inn except one location. It's not impossible for characters to just quickly get around, which is nice. Especially with the way, I'm going to spend this to do Eagle and move 4 spaces. So that is nice. But yeah, I would have almost liked with the Dragon expansion, because they made Brimstone do something different with him moving around. It'd be cool if all the other dragons besides Sapphire did something unique.
Right.
With their movement, instead of, they do have the unique minions, but their movement to how you lose is the same. It would make more thematic sense, I guess, that you lose if Sapphire gets to Monarch City.
Right.
That dithers down the darkness spreads a little bit more, because it's only Sapphire who's going to beeline it, but the other ones still fuck, with everything else, like the fire tokens. Right. It would have been really cool if, I think that would
fire, poison, and like darkness.
Yeah, like fear or whatever.
Yeah,
that would have been like, just have all those tokens. Yeah, it'd be a little samey, but have them do like fire. You have to spend extra actions to put it out, and you take a damage if you're in there. Maybe fear makes you get rid of cards. Poison makes you get rid of cards. Fear makes you lose actions. Like, that would have been really cool, because then the board starts. These are like, because these aren't they're generals, but these are like the henchmen really to Sapphire. So it'd be cool if they all were doing her bidding and fucking over the land, and then Sapphire if she makes it to Monarch City, then you lose.
And the interesting thing is because we played scenario 1, and this is like introducing. This is the dragons rampaging, right?
What incentive is there to play the other?
Well, but I think because the other ones is like then it's just like scenario 2 is Realm in Flames. You know, there's the fire dragon Brimstone. Is unleashed, and unleashed him with an independent agent to turn the realm into an inferno. So he comes out with Lord Balazarg, which is
he's the green guy, isn't he?
Red.
Oh, red. Okay,
so he's a demon.
That makes sense.
So he'd be demon. Sapphire comes out Gorget, which is the green
he's
guy.
The green guy.
And then Onyx.
Green
So there's
guy.
2 dragons and 2
regular dudes,
which changes up the deals, and there's different setup rules for that. And then there's a scenario 3 is called Onslaught, so there's different stuff, and then there's the land is dying and the burning land. And
how many scenarios are there?
It looks like 5. 5, yeah.
And maybe it's just that once in the dragons rampaging, it's too difficult. It's one of the reasons why I don't like ghost stories, because everyone's like, that game's impossible. Well, yeah, because it's literal randomness. Like, to me, it's a faux difficulty. It's like, well, we don't really want to put any rules or actually come up with mechanics to make it hard, so how about we just add in dice and random card draw? And it's like, yeah, I guess, yeah, that does make it hard, but I personally don't like that. I like my idea now because of just Sapphire. Because once again, no matter where she's at,
right.
it's 3 or 4 spaces to get there. So you can still lose with 4 sapphire draws, but having these guys do other stuff would just, to me, just makes thematic sense. Because you still have to kill them, and that's how you win.
That makes her easier to kill, so
Yeah.
taking out the other ones.
Right, and
You know,
it lessens the fire coming out, or the poison, or the fear, instead of just, they're all trying to get to Monarch City. Creative. So, the Dragon expansion I really don't like, and we've played the base game years ago. And yeah, the base game is fine. It's like, it's base Pandemic, a little bit, and if I'm not mistaken, the base game generals, it's been a while, with the orc, what was it, a necromancer?
There's like it's like a necromancer type,
Yeah.
the undead.
Because Sapphire's the only
undead.
dragon in
Yeah.
the base game.
Yeah, and it's a different
right there.
dragon. It's not. It has totally different abilities
Yeah.
than that. She's
Yeah,
more.
and they all did something a little bit different.
yes.
Which, is a little bit nice.
Yeah.
One thing that I love about this game, besides, we talked about it on a top 10 one time, where I think you were advocating for the art, because at the time they were going to remake it, and I was saying they should change it. Re-looking at it, I actually really like the old art.
It fits the game because the game feels like an older style game.
Exactly.
And all that, so yeah.
Even I really like it. Just feels, especially because I play D&D a lot, it just feels like going back to old school D&D. But one of the things that I love are the characters. So, and if you get the expansions, there's a bunch of them. Like Cat Play the Paladin, because their character in D&D is a paladin. I picked Eagle Rider because that's never a class that is in any game. And then the monk, because I like monks.
There's
but
all kinds of interesting ones in there.
yeah, because you got a ranger, barbarian, dwarf. I mean, your basic rogue, cleric. This one's just weird. Adventurer.
Wait till you get to the cat one.
Right? Elf lord. Thief. Which I don't know how that's any different from a rogue, but
It's a more nefarious rogue.
yeah.
The rogue that's not silly.
Captain of the guard. Assassin. Seeker. Sorceress. Chaos wizard.
Oh, that's cool.
Chaos Wizard's crazy.
Yeah, he looks
Wanda from WandaVision.
no, it's I couldn't think of I was trying to twist Wanda into a male name.
Wendell.
Wendell. Yeah, Wendell. Maximoff.
Yeah.
So Chaos Wizard, the Shaman, Druid, Healer, and Feline.
Feline.
You're just a cat. You're just a furry.
You fucking freak.
Yeah, so I mean, I just think that's when Feline rolls a natural 1 in combat, she may re-roll each natural 1 time. If the second roll is a 1, she may not re-roll again. So yeah, like they all feel unique, which is a huge testament, because for a game, granted the expansions for the heroes didn't come out at the same year that the game came out, but it's really cool that unique abilities like that, because the Eagle Rider feels completely different from the monk and the paladin and the wizard and stuff like that. There's no overlapping abilities, so I like the variety of all the heroes. Yeah, I'm trying to think. That's pretty much it. I can't really think of anything else to really say about the game. Dragon expansion sucks. I don't really like it. But yeah, it's a fine base game, but it does show its age. Yeah, you guys got anything else?
No.
Cool.
So I think that's about it.
All right. Well, on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you guys give Defenders of the Realm?
Just because it does show signs of aging, but because I have respect for it and I'm here for the aesthetic, I'm gonna give it just a solid 5.
Wow. I was expecting you started that on a positive note, just because, yeah, it's just, I had so much fun, and it is show it's an age, but 5.
But just because
Is that with the expansion?
yes,
Okay.
yeah, but I just didn't voice negatives because you guys were covering it, but yeah, it has its problems. It obviously has its problems, and that's where it shows its age. But yeah, I just think a 5 is completely fair.
I really wish that the Dragon expansion took my idea. That would, I don't know. I'm obviously super biased because it was my own idea, and I'm like over here just jacking myself off with how cool that would be.
I'm so smart.
I'm a genius. Why aren't I designing games? Taking the Dragon expansion out, I'd give it a 6. I think it's a slightly above average game, especially considering it came out 10 years ago. I did not play it 10 years ago, but it has been a while since I have played it. And we played it like multiple times base game and then with the Dragon expansion, but I hadn't remembered how brutally random the expansion is. With the Dragon expansion, it would go down to a 5. It's hard for the sake of being hard. There's no cleverness around it. But yeah, I think overall, like the Defenders of the Realm, taking all of it into consideration, I think it'd be about a 6, slightly above average.
So I'll be just a step up above you.
Nice.
I would say base game nowadays 7.
Yeah.
Back when it first came out with all the craziness and how awesome it was,
Yeah.
this would have been. I mean, this was like a 9-10
Yeah.
game. It gets done a lot better now, so I would probably still keep it at a 7. I don't care for the Dragon expansion. This is only with other people. This is only the second time I've ever played the Dragon expansion. So I'd probably do 6 maybe because you're still playing Defenders. So 7,
True.
6.
Could you with the Dragon expansion? Could you play base game and just swap in the Dragon? Is there any rule?
You can mix and match however you want. If
So
you
that's
wanted to
kinda
play
nice.
base game and
not do Sapphire, but do like Brimstone.
well, you have to do the same.
You always
color.
have to do. Oh, okay.
So like you'd have.
Oh,
either-
that's right. That's right.
Right. So like you could play the Dragon expansion and not use Onyx and put Vorgoth or whatever his name is there, or you could put the red General in instead of the red Brimstone. I mean, you can mix and match. You just have to have the same color.
That's pretty nice. That gives you some flexibility, so you don't have to do all 4 dragons.
Well, and also there's Captain of the Guard or General, whatever the term was that they used for the dragons, because there's another version of each dragon.
Okay.
What was it? I can't remember what it was called now. Sorry. It's oh God, sorry. Wow.
You just don't have this memorized.
Oh, I know. It's right here. It says there's no Agent of the Dark Lord. There's versions of each of the dragons called Agent of the Dark Lord as well. So like there's a Brimstone Agent of the Dark Lord version, and there's an Onyx version and stuff. So that just changes. It gives you another version of the dragons as well, which are used in the scenarios and just different versions as well. So they have a little bit different abilities.
Gives you some variety there. That's nice. I mean, also, I didn't really care that the minions had different abilities. That was just one more thing to keep track of.
Well, they were harder minions.
It's just like that is actually another thing that I don't like is this should be. I mean, you could easily house rule it. I actually am going to talk a little bit more about it because when you kill a dragon, you get a special ability. Only that person does, which is like their semi-cooperative nature. Like in Pandemic, when you not eradicate or when you cure a disease, everyone has that ability. That's how it just should be. Like what we could have easily done is just been like, all right, Green Slayer, everyone has, or Green Dragon Slayer, everyone has that. I don't like the fact that it's just like, nope, only the Eagle Rider can now kill green minions.
So I'll add my little note to your new rules for the Dragon expansion.
Yeah, whenever I go to Richard Lanius.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So like, or instead of being everybody, because I was clear away, the people involved in the battle all had that ability, because you 3 all took them down and all their little
right.
Like, oh my god, these are the 3 that killed the dragon.
Yeah, these are the 3 heroes who killed our lords.
Since grouping up is so important in taking down the deal, that way, like,
that'd be cool.
Those 3 characters have all had that
a
token or something.
Yeah, something that's like like a little Hemlock dragon token that everyone puts on their card to be like, hey, now
right there smoking on my pipe, like,
right? You're just like, oh, you youngsters, like.
You're supposed to be helping us fight. What?
I'm just teleporting around.
I'm the kids.
I'll be dead real soon.
I'm trying to organize the militia.
You never did that. Yeah, I mean that would just make it thematic and a little bit easier, or do it to where. I mean this would make it a little bit too easy. I think where if you kill the dragon, then no imps show up. I know that only happens in Eradication and Pandemic, where you fully wipe it, that they never come back. That's a little more thematic.
Like, if we got all of the imps off the board, they're just like, oh,
they
shit.
just don't.
Well,
we wiped out the cult. That would be nice.
Drove them out of the land.
Once again, you could easily just house rule it, where it's like, I mean, you can probably make your own tokens for each of these and just be like, oh, okay, now, yes, us 3 killed it, so now when we run through a green location, they die. But yeah, I think you do have the flexibility to do stuff like that, but as is, only the person killing it gets the ability. That's just stupid, especially when the minions are already hard enough to kind of deal with the dragon expansion.
The other thing, real quick, just to toss in right before you close, is I don't feel like in most adventure games, you feel like you have the time to do stuff. Mm-hmm. And this one, with everybody being 4 spots away from the deal, it's like, I mean, I guess I could have, because of teleportation, went to the end, but like I didn't feel like I had time to get to the end because everything was already there.
Right.
So I just don't feel like you have time to explore.
Yeah, you really don't have time to do quests. The quests are, I mean, kind of like you said, more of a bloated deck. I remember last time I played not really liking these because it's like half the time you get a quest that's just useless. Like hey, I'm gonna run to Sapphire's location and get a blue card. Okay, that's not. There's 70 minions I need to go deal with.
Does it specify on that? Do you get to search through the deck for a blue card?
And take the first blue card.
Oh, so you don't get to choose?
No.
Like, if it lets you choose, you could go pick one that had 2 blue dice.
Yeah, that'd be
or something.
That'd be a little bit more worth it. But
cool.
Nope, it's search, until I find a blue one, and then thank God, I. Oh, look at that! There's the one that was worth it, and then the rest just gets shuffled in. Man, well, I was gonna say something, but you were talking about exploring. What would have also been nice with the Dragon expansion is if you have heroes. Like, it'd be cool if you had heroes in the location of the generals, specifically the dragons. They don't move. Because it's like, they're trying to get to Monarch City, but we're stopping them. Hey, we're both there. Maybe at some cost you lose a card or you lose an action.
Or they're just so interested in us.
Yeah, it's like,
okay.
Like, it's not that... It's like, I get it, they're trying to destroy Monarch City, but it's like, we're heroes, so we should be able to prevent them. Like, my Eagle Rider's swooping in to stop him, and then my Monk is just like, when you get down here, I'll kick your ass. That would be another way, because you can just get completely screwed, where it's like, okay, shit. Maybe suffer the consequence of their ability if you're preventing them from moving. That would just make it not. I don't think it would be super easy if you just because if you suffered their ability, then especially like Hemlock, for example, you would just get 1 turn before you're basically wiped. To prevent them from just going, all right, I win. Right. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep my score the same. I was gonna think about bumping it up to a 6 overall because of the variety of swapping in and out, but we've sat here and basically thought of like 9 different ways.
How do we make a new game?
How do we make this game better? And I don't like doing that. Those are just ideas that I would have that maybe, hopefully, Freedom 5 implements. But we have to wait 6 years before that game comes out. So yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it as a 5. With everything, and then a 6 base game. So, all right, that's our thoughts on Defenders of the Realm. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.